Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Emmanuel the Lens back again with another video. So there are so many things that has been happening in the camera world lately, and it feels pretty strange because it looks like there are new cameras coming out every single day that you kind of sort of felt overwhelmed with camera decision or which camera to buy and which one will fit you better, or in any case, which camera really you deserve to get. But that's not what I'm going to be talking about today, because today I want to talk about a classic. This is a camera classic. Let me just move forward. This lens, let's do this. So this lens, I'm sure everybody has had this lens, or everybody has this lens in the kit. And I personally cannot sell mine. I've lost it. I've had, this is my third copy of this lens. I've had the older version, and this is the STM, which is one of the newest version. And I think this is probably the most selling lens from Canon, probably the most popular as well, because this lens is a staple in photography and now in videography as well. But a lot of people that do videography now started with photography. And I do believe that they have had this lens in the kit, and they probably still have this lens. And it has so much sentimental value that they can't get rid of it. So this lens is the Canon 50M nifty-fifty. It's called the nifty-fifty. It's very classic because it's a very versatile lens. And I think Canon has made a mistake with this lens, because especially this version, not the version before, especially this one, the one with the STM motors, is, I wouldn't say perfect, but close to it. This lens is, for the price that you can get this lens, it's amazing. It goes for around $150, $120 here and there. You can find it on promotion. But I also have to mention that Chinese manufacturer like TT Artisan, Viltrox are bringing this type of nifty-fifty for crop sensor, especially your Sony and your Fuji, and they haven't released for the RF yet, but I do believe that it will come eventually. But this lens is a cheat code, to be honest, because if you just want to have that blur background bokeh, it can do that for you, especially on a crop sensor. It's like an 85mm. So the nifty-fifty, the Canon MM 50mm nifty-fifty is a f1.8 in terms of aperture, and I don't know how many iris blades it has or aperture blade it has, but the bokeh are actually very pleasant in general. But this lens does revolve with some L series lenses. I'm not going to say it does rival with like your f2.8 lenses, but for the price, because it's a full frame lens as well, and the size, so this lens is very tiny, and that's one reason why I always have it in my kit. So if I compare it, for example, for a lens that is double the size, like my 100mm, it's literally 4 or 5 times the size of this lens. You can literally stack up 5 of these lenses to get the 100mm, and it's f2.8. This lens is the f1.8. It's very good in low light, very good in low light, because you can definitely shoot at that f1.8, and it's very sharp at f1.8. That's something that I'm very impressed for the lens of this type of price. We generally know that this type of lenses at this price, they don't get super sharp. Sometimes they get very blurry for the price, as you go down in terms of prices. But this one is one lens that's very surprising, because it's really good. It is really good. That's just how good is this lens is, that I'm saying it so many times. I've used this lens for so long, and I can't fault it. I can't fault it because of the price. And this is probably one of the only things that I have to say very nicely about Canon recently. They also released the new camera, the C400, by the way. If you haven't watched it, you go check the CVP review of that, very in detail and very in depth. But to go back to the subject of this lens, it's very lightweight, and you can have 2 or 3 of these lenses. They're always selling them. They're always very readily available to be grabbed in the market. They are very cheap, so you can break a few of them, and there is not much to say about the lens. It's a very good lens, to be honest. It's a very good lens. This is what I generally use if I am like shooting, if I have enough space to shoot, maybe let's say like a family or anything like that, it's very good for an STM lens. And for the price, this nifty-fifty is a lens to grab. I don't know, they could probably just put like a red ring here, because this lens has those L-series ability in a very small body. It's a very surprising lens, and yeah, for the price, it's something that you should definitely snap. And this is one lens. As soon as you buy your first camera, and I always advise people, as soon as you buy your first Canon, get rid of that kit lens that you have, get yourself a nifty-fifty, especially if you are a photographer. For people that are doing video, it's a little bit more tricky because it's a very zoomed in, very telephoto lens, if you put it especially on a crop sensor. But if you are doing photography, you need a first lens. This is the lens that I recommend for everybody. And as you've been seeing in the photo that I've been putting here, a lot of those photos have been shot with this lens, and it's super sharp. F1.8 gives you a lot of low light ability. It's really just a dream lens. I'm not gonna say dream, but it's a very good lens as a step up from a lens that you've had as a kit lens. This is probably the best prime lens that Canon has made over the time, and it will still be selling very well. I've used the RF lenses as well. I like the 35 of the RF version. I'm more of a 35 person. It's a more versatile lens for me, and I'm thinking about picking up another 35 lens, 35 mil, because I don't have a 35 mil in my kit right now, besides the Fuji one that I'm using. But I just don't feel much of the Fuji one. That's why I just want to get the Canon one, because I used to have the young newer one, and I love that lens so much. I've used it so much that it even broke. So that is the reason. That's one of the reasons why I'm looking for a 35 mil. But this one was one lens that when you take a photo and you're like, ooh, yeah, that blurry background, creamy background, just makes everything looks very beautiful. So grab yourself a nifty-fifty and put it in your lens, in your bag. You will thank me so much and you won't regret it. Peace out.